Welcome to AdvisorFlow, where we explore how AI and automation are reshaping the future of business. Today, we are talking about a major transformation in how brands manage their retail presence using AI and IoT to monitor, analyze, and act in real time. My guest today is Mr. Durlabh Jain at Cool R Group, a pioneer in AI-powered retail execution using smart IoT camera systems like VistaZ and StoreAware AI. Mr. Durlabh, welcome to the show. Excited to have you here.
Thank you, Ali, for the invitation, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so let's kick off with some context. In-store execution has always been difficult to track. Teams spends hours auditing shelves, collecting data, and still miss critical moments. So can you walk us through the problem your technology is solving and what inspired the solution?
Absolutely. So if you think about when you go to a store, let's say a Walmart or say a Tesco store, etc., anywhere in the world, or even a mom and pop store, uh, you see a lot of these branded refrigerators and coolers. People associate them with the soft drinks such as Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or ice cream such as Walls, etc.
Yep.
Now, the unique thing about these branded assets is that generally they are also served by the brands themselves. So,
Right.
for example, even if it is in a 7-Eleven store, generally Coca-Cola or Pepsi or these companies are responsible to making sure that these are fulfilled. And
Mm.
on top of that, these are not owned generally by the retail stores, they are owned by these companies themselves.
Right.
And hence, you want the best ROI possible for these assets because you put in such an expensive piece of unit in the field.
Yep.
Now, if you think about when you want to know how these units are performing, the data is generally very scattered or it is limited. So let us say, let's just walk through a journey of a traditional execution. So let's say you go to a store, you fill it with, let us say, Coke, Diet Coke, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, etc. And
Yep.
then somebody is going to visit again next week to check, okay, fine, how did this asset do and what do I need to fill? They will take an order and place an order.
Right.
Now, let's say you ran out of Coke and Pepsi. You visited Monday and you ran out on Tuesday. You have no idea because you visited after a week. You just know that at some point it got sold out in the week. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know the trends.
So,
So
so
as we,
you are basically visiting the store based on certain assumptions. There is no
yes,
insight available.
there's nothing. Okay. So, and even when you visit the next Monday, you don't know what you could have done better to avoid this out of stock. Okay. And this is close to estimated by researchers about a $1 trillion problem. And if you think about the other side of this is that, okay, I visit again on Monday, and if everything is full, I have wasted a visit. So there's no real data available. So what we have done is that combined IoT and AI. And if you think about what we are doing is that giving eyes and ears to these brands on how their assets are performing. And
Right.
this is just one part of the story because another part of the story is if you think about the environment impact of these wasted visit, and we are just thinking about brands, but think about the consumers also. Let us say you wanted to grab a Coke or a Pepsi, whatever you like, and you go to the store and you don't find it. There is a chance you might pick another of the product, but depending upon the product, there is also a chance that you might not pick and you might want to go to another store. So think about all those wasted miles. So it's a problem for the consumers, it's a problem for the brand, it's a problem for the retailer as well. So that's what we are trying to solve. So
So
it
that,
is
that
based.
means that if there are insightful trip, you can
Yes.
reduce the carbon footprint as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have seen with our technology, and we can definitely measure the execution from the retail brands and CPG companies. We cannot measure the consumer ones because we don't know always that, okay, consumer picked another product or not. But this is proven that it has reduced the carbon footprint. It has improved what we call cost to serve. So how much dollars or how much money or how much, let us say, energy does it take to deliver the same amount of product, say day one versus day 10?
Right. So you are essentially putting a virtual sales rep in every asset. So how does the VistaZ IoT cameras actually work in practice?
So So if you think about, we have a spin on the name. So in the US, Z is known as Z, and Z also starts for zero. So that's why we developed this device, and we call it Vista Zero Footprint, because it has a panel, as you can see. So it
Right.
can charge itself. It is a battery operated solution. So it charges from the ambient light which is available in the store. So it's
Right.
basically a peel and stick unit. So you just remove the stickers, and then you just stick on the door of the cooler, or if it is a freezer, you just stick it, and then it has cellular built in, and it can last up to easily up to 3 years on battery, depending upon the cellular. So it has cellular built in. It has a camera, as you can see, it's a wide lens camera specifically designed for us, which works in low temperature. Because if you think about refrigerators and freezers, one of the biggest challenge is that you are in low temperature range and the battery should still work, right? Because
Right.
battery capacity diminishes.
Yes.
So, and in fact, we optimize the shape and everything to make sure that we collect the data.
Mm.
So in the modern world, everybody says data is gold, right? So
Mm.
if you think about this, this is, you can say, a mine that produces the gold that is in the modern world.
Agree.
And you
Agree.
asked about other systems. So if you think about, yes, like, you can have gold, but until and unless you turn it into an ornament, the value is still limited. So this
Right.
is where our stock aware solution, store aware solution comes into picture. It converts it into actionable data,
Right.
because it is something similar to, hey, if I know that I have out of stock, then it is a sinking feeling that, okay, now even I know of the problems that I did not know, I discovered it, but if I can't take action, have I created more problems for myself? Right.
Right.
So this is where the AI piece comes into picture. So we convert these images, temperature data, the door open closes and placement into the refrigerator. We analyze that and then convert into actionable insights, and not only insights but actions as well. So
Right.
I'll give you a very simple example. So let us say we capture an image in a 7-Eleven store,
Mm.
and we see that, okay, fine, you are out of, let us say, maybe, let's say, a particular brand of soft drink.
Right.
But we know that, okay, this drink is being sold more, okay, and you're out of stock. So there could be multiple actions. So one of the action could be, okay, fine, go fill it. But maybe the maximum sale you will get is, let us say, $40 worth of, and the cost of visit itself is $60. So it
Mm.
does not make sense. So the action could be that we suggest that in this particular store, you should increase the facings of this particular drink,
Right.
while you use the facings of this particular drink which is selling slowly. And this
Right.
is possible because we have trend. We don't have a point in time data, but we have a daily trend. Okay, how your products are being removed from the shelf, and we can tell you the optimization. And now it is not a generic thing here, like if you go to every store, the first shelf is going to have this, second shelf is going to have this. Rather, it can be optimized, and you can decide on the cadence of the optimization, because you don't want to change it every time, but you
Mm.
can make a decision based on, say, 2 month, 3 month of data, right?
Right.
And another actionability is that, okay, fine, let us say you are not out of stock completely, but you are out of stock by, let us say, okay, fine, let's say this particular refrigerator fits 22 cases, and now it is out of approximately 10 cases, and that is going to be, let us say, about $200. Yes, it makes sense for me to visit this particular store. And let us say
Right.
another store is full, you don't even go there.
That's kind of real-time visibility, right?
Yes.
It must be a game changer for supply chain, field teams, and operations alike. What sort of granularity we are looking at?
Yeah, so there are various aspects to the granularity, because there is always a cost benefit analysis we have to do. And still, the say cost of the cellular is not as cheap as we would like it to be. And then on top of that, everybody wants to make money. So what we have determined is generally taking 1 to 2 pictures a day has been enough, because that gives the enough trends. And then it can also be depending upon the volume in the store or the frequency in the store. So we have had situations where, let us say, if a store gets 100 door opens, then we take more pictures. But if it gets 20 door opens, then you take less pictures. So these are all configurable. And
Right.
when you talk about granularity, if you think about, there are various aspects we analyze. We don't only analyze based on the SKU. We also analyze based on the shelf and shelf position. So for
Right.
example, If you go to a store, maybe your strike zone is first three shelves. The bottom three shelves are generally for in-home consumption, maybe 2 liter, 1 liter bottles, etc. So you can decide that, okay, fine, I want to focus on, okay, whenever my top shelf is empty, I want an alert rather than just based on the product. Because Coke, let us say, is on the first shelf and fourth shelf.
Mm.
If it is fourth shelf, nobody's going to look down and identify. They see the food cooler empty and they might not even walk up to it, right?
Yes, yes.
And and then we also combine it with the temperature data as well as door open. So that gives us an idea because if let us say you go to a store and the temperature is not right, even if it is full, nobody's going to buy the product because what we focus on is what we call impulse buys. And that's where impulse products you want at the right temperature and at the right serving.
You know, technology is only as good as the result it delivers. Let's talk about impact. So, may I ask, what is your uh, strategic differentiator today?
So it's interesting how people perceive AI. A lot of people are scared of it, that it is going to replace people. Whereas what we have been focusing on is that it can be assistive. And when we talk about assistive, this is where the value and impact comes into, because it can make people more efficient.
Mm.
And if you think about what we just talked about, in the sense that it is already helping reducing the carbon footprint, that
Yeah.
is one aspect of the system.
Mm.
The other one, if you think about every CPG company is looking to improve their sales by reducing cost to serve.
Yep.
Because just because technology is available, it's not that, okay, humans will start consuming more ice cream or more soft drink or more products, right? So it is just about how do you optimize the whole ecosystem so that the product is available and you're not wasting energy and you're reducing cost.
Yep.
So what we've seen in the industry is that generally it's a highly scalable system for us to deploy because it is a retrofit. So the existing cabinets, there are millions out
Mm.
there. You are not wasting those. So it's not a part solution. We also have solution for the new build. And our focus has been to improve sales. And what we have seen is that most of our customers have seen somewhere between, say, 12% to 30% sales uplift in year one. And the
Right.
reason we qualify year one is because generally you have better improvement in year one because you're improving your processes. But then
Mm.
once the process is part of your cycle, it's just regular, right? Then the other thing that is important for any product is what is the ROI. And
Yep.
in general, that we have
I was
seen is
about to ask, in terms of ROI,
yeah.
what the CPG companies should expect, by implementing this technology. Yeah.
So, so the way we say is that if you think about on an average, in most of the developed countries, the average visit costs somewhere between $35 to $60,
Mm.
right? So considering that fact, we expect the ROI by saving wasted visits is somewhere between 2 to 3 months. But let us say, like, we have to give some leeway to here, like, you might still want to visit the customer and you may still want to have FaceTime. So when you combine the ROI in terms of sales uplift, as well as this payback from saved visits, generally a maximum is 6 months.
So here comes an interesting part. Are there any surprising insight your clients discovered through the AI that they wouldn't have seen manually?
Yeah. So a lot of people ask why this technology and why not, say, data from the POS system. So first of all, if you think about a large percentage of the products are still sold in traditional stores where you don't have integrated POS system with the CPG companies. And with that comes our main philosophy, which is that if you think about most of the CPG companies are running blind.
Yeah.
And the reason we say that is that you can't sell what is not on the shelf. So even if, let us say, I drop, let us say, one case of a beverage into the store and it is in the back of the store or it is, let us say, behind the counter, you're not going to sell, right?
Mm.
So we have seen in many, many cases where the replenishment on the shelf or the placement of on the shelf is not really, let us say, as per the standards or the merchandising standards that these CPG companies want. Second thing is that these are, say, branded coolers. And I don't want, let us say, if it is a cooler uh, property, I don't want, let us say, another company's product into it.
Mhm.
So a lot of companies run these surveys to identify if they are having this problem.
Mm.
And we have seen that when you have automated system in place, we see that, okay, fine, somebody visits, they remove, let us say, a foreign product or a competing product, and the
Mm.
day they are out of the store, it's back there. So
Right,
if you think about what it introduces is a policing effect, right?
right, right. That
So,
was very interesting, you know.
so So another thing that we see is that generally may not be possible with other ways of data capture is the trends. So we are able to determine the trends that, okay, fine, these kind of stores, generally most of the sales are happening during the afternoon time or in the evening time or in the morning time or these days. And that is quite interesting from the fact that we are able to glean that, okay, fine, these stores probably you should visit in morning, because generally on Friday evening they run out of stock. So if you
Yeah,
change schedule to Saturday morning, you will not be out of stock.
I
And
agree.
so these kind of things. And another interesting fact is that if you think about, say, companies like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, etc., have so many products in their portfolio, it's
Mm.
always a challenge to determine which one should I put in which refrigerator, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's a very hard question, you know. Very hard. Until unless you have enormous amount of data, you cannot answer it. You cannot address it.
yes. So with that, we are able to determine now with our data, because of the granularity of the data, that, okay, what is selling where and what is not selling where, because the even let us say preferences change by the region, by, let us
Mm.
say, the demographics in specific area. And then the last but not the least, I would say, is that what we have seen is also the fact that if you think about this segmentation at the asset level. So, for example, if you go to Walmart, you might have a 20 places where you can buy, let us say, a soft drink, right? But now with this data, we are even able to identify which places sell out faster
Right.
and which product. So it was interesting that we did this experiment in a conference where we put our cameras, and it
Mm.
was for a very big beverage brand, and they had soft drinks and say diet drinks and water.
Mm.
And just by looking at the data, it was for the beverage brand, and we expected something like a diet drink to go out of stock first. It was the water that went out first. Then it
Yes.
was the diet drink,
Mm.
and then it was the caffeine free, and then it was the regular one.
And there's always the concern with AI that it removes the human element or creates too much surveillance. So, what is your goal? Is the goal is to replace field reps or enhance their effectiveness?
The way I see technology is that there is initial reaction always is that it is going to remove the human from the chain. But what we have seen is that it has always increased the efficiency and creating new avenues of the whole process. So, if you think about, let's just talk in the overall process. So, first of all, we have focused on what we call impulse buy categories only, because
Right.
you can't order, let us say, a soda because you want to drink now from an Amazon or a Walmart, right? You want to grab it right there. So if you think about from a consumer behavior perspective, it's not going to have any impact on the consumers. In fact, it improves their confidence that my brands, the ones that I love, are going to have products that I like in the store most of the times, because they have a way to monitor when I'm running out of stock.
Hmm.
When it comes to the CPG brands, their challenge is that they have so many stores to serve, and they are not able to serve them effectively. So,
Right.
in fact, because of this, they choose which stores they are going to visit more than the stores that are actually neglected for months.
So,
So, with the
is it because of certain bias or they just follow a trend?
so it is, you can say, because most of the data is generally collected and is stale, right? They collect the data from time to time. So if a brand is selling more in Coca-Cola or sorry, say Walmart, then they might just visit Walmart more, right?
Right.
And if a mom and pop store is not selling more, they might say, okay, fine, I'll just deliver every month. Whatever, whenever they call, I will deliver. But they are leaving this particular sale because they don't know. These are very unpredictable. So
Right.
with this data available, they are able to reroute their whole delivery and whole planning mechanism, And in fact, now they can justify their investment into personnel and expanding that personnel. So think about a scenario. Let's say there is a small rural area, and there they don't send people right now. But
Mm.
now, if they detect that, okay, for 2 days on an average, they are out of stock of these products because of this, then they might actually deliver more, creating the demand. And even having a salesperson who talks to the retailer and finds out, okay, fine, how the trend is and how we can improve more increases.
Right.
So what we measure is what we call cost to serve, because cost to serve is the important measurement. And as brands bring this cost to serve lower, the main thing is then they can distribute this dollar amount to serve wider range rather than a narrower range and more frequently, where they might even have wasted visits.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
and
Very
there is
useful.
also,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. Go
So,
ahead.
so,
Sorry.
so there are some couple of other AI related trust factors. So one is that how correct the AI is. And we say that AI is as correct as probably a human can be, because both do a lot of guessing game as well, right? So when you are seeing an image, so a lot of times, as people say that sometimes eyes can be deceiving. So if the image is blurry sometimes, maybe because of fogging or the product is rotated, you may not be able to determine like humans guess. So same ways the models are determined to guess sometimes. So initially people may have doubts. And with AI, another challenge you mentioned about this surveillance. So the privacy factor also comes into play a lot. That,
Yeah.
okay, fine, you are monitoring now, and are you monitoring consumers also? So the good thing is that our technology does not monitor consumers at all. It is always an inward facing camera, and we eliminate any human body parts which may be captured in a photo even accidentally, and those are completely removed from the images.
Right, 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 right. So basically, you take privacy very seriously. It means,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so Durlabh, I would like to also understand your growth strategy. What are your main growth priorities over the next 6 to 12 months? Are you exploring new markets?
So one of the key metrics for our growth plan has been this cost to serve,
Mm.
because from an ROI perspective, it's always validation against that cost to serve. So it was always easier for geographically distributed places, or where the say the labor cost is higher. For example, US, Western Europe, etc. Now we are expanding into the LATAM and EMEA market in general.
Mm.
We are seeing a lot of adoption in Eastern Europe and a demand from Middle East as well as in Asia. We had to tweak some of the way we collect the data to make it suitable for those regions.
Mm.
For the past 2 years, we have been doubling our subscription every year.
Right.
And this year, again, we are on track to double, and we expect that next year, based on the commitments, we are again going to double or triple our growth.
Mm.
So I can mention that probably uh, our competitors don't even have in 1% of the places this kind of a technology where we have this technology. In
Mm.
fact, I joke that in US, probably anybody giving me a zip code, I can tell them that within 5 to 10 miles, you will find at least 4 or 5 of our units out there.
Wow.
So our strategy is to grow for the CPGs, and then probably as we mature a little bit more and retailers start uh, say accepting this kind of a new data being much different than what they are used to as compared to their POS data, probably will expand into those retailers as well.
Mm.
And last but not the least, we are launching a new product which is RFID based, still battery operated, which is
Mm.
also going to allow us help this stock keeping for different segments, including retail, but segments such as pharmaceuticals, where tracking the medication, etc., is really important.
Yeah.
So we do believe
That's
that we are
the
going to,
vertical, basically. That's a vertical market. Yeah. Okay.
yes,
So,
so we
so,
are
so
going to grow horizontally and vertically.
how are you achieving this growth, basically? What is driving your adoption? Is it the partnerships? Because you're talking about 2x, 3x growth. Is it direct
Yes.
sales, word of mouth, inbound? Which channel you're using?
So it's a combination of different things, and I would say that we have got a very good sales leadership in our company. Our salespeople are really aligned with our customers, and we are working with these brands, and they are giving us insights what they want, etc. So our strategy is divided into multiple categories. With some of these multinational companies, we are working top down, getting the confidence from the central leadership, and then working with the regional groups and their regional, let us say, execution partners. When it comes to say national brands that are regional, there generally it is either inbound or generally word of mouth, because they, when they go to the market, they see this technology deployed and people talking about it.
Right.
From an execution perspective, we primarily work with partners outside of the US and Western Europe, where partners help deploy the technology and evangelize the solution.
Right. So lastly, what is the biggest mistake companies make when they're trying to automate their retail operation? Some of them trying to over automate, So what is your advice to them?
So, one of the key things that I see that a lot of companies have is overload of data and analytics. So without actionability, it becomes challenging. If I already got three sets of data and I get another three sets of data, I'm
Uh,
just over. Uh, as people say, it's information overload, right?
right.
So we focused on actionability and whether you, is it a loop, closed loop, when you take this data, is it making any changes? How do you measure? So because our system is also continuously measuring, you have an ability, and it gets excited, or say it becomes exciting for everybody who's involved, that they can see with their own eyes that the changes that it is bringing into the whole ecosystem. So that will be my biggest advice to any company, that any technology that is deployed, the main, let us say, objective should be that how are we going to measure the impact and how soon can we measure the impact? Because sometimes the sooner you can measure the impact and see the impact, the adoption can be much, much faster.
You have shown us how smart assets can deliver smarter execution. Before we close out, how can people learn more about your work or connect with you? Is it via LinkedIn, social media, website? Where are you most active, by the way?
Sure. So, definitely our website has a lot of information about our product. In fact, we are opening up all our documentation and behind the scenes on our docs website. So our website is coolargroup.com, and our documentation is on docs.coolargroup.com. Definitely, anybody can get in touch with me through LinkedIn, because that's the most, let us say, popular professional channel these days. And anybody trying to get in touch with our team, they can get in touch at sales@coolargroup.com, or directly with me at durlabh.jain@coolargroup.com.
A big thank you to you then. For my viewers, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review. Until next time, this is Ali Jamal signing off. Stay innovative, stay connected, and goodbye.